Dek is a young and rather small Yautja, and has been shunned by the rest of his clan because of it. Before his father does the one thing to make his existence honorable, Dek escapes from his home planet, and lands on the even more dangerous planet of Genna. While marooned, Dek looks to prove himself as a Yautja, and hunt this planet's most dangerous game. This is Predator Badlands. Predator Badlands is the latest film in the Predator franchise, and the third film directed by Dan Trachtenberg. And this is the first of his Predator films to actually see a movie theater. You know Disney regretted releasing Prey to streaming. I just feel it in my gut. They really regretted doing that. And I'm extremely happy Predator Badlands didn't share the same fate. Because this movie is kinda rad. This film kinda reinvents the Predator franchise and takes it into territories it works excellently in. Not only does the film take place on a dangerous and hostile planet, not to be confused with Earth, the film's story is centered around a Yautja, a predator himself. I'm gonna say Yautja a whole lot in this video, so be prepared for that. This is an amazing change of pace for the franchise, giving us a film with a great story, characters, and great action, even with the PG-13 rating. Don't worry, I'll get into that part. It really surprised me it took them this long to make a Predator film with the Yautja as the main character. They may have helped take out some xenomorphs in the Alien vs. Predator films, but they're not the main characters in those movies. This film evolves the fictional species into something a lot more than just, let's say, a tactical slasher, because the original Predator film is definitely a slasher movie. Perhaps Dutch doesn't fit in with the other final girls of the slasher genre, but this image is funny to me, so I'm rolling with it. Our lead Yautja, Dek, more than makes his mark with this film, giving us the best possible character to follow in a Yautja-focused film. The facial expressions on Dek are so well animated, and it made me appreciate the design of the Yautja even more. Playing Dek is Demetrius Schuster-Koloamatangi. I really hope that's right, because he's fantastic in this film. Not only does he do an amazing job at selling the mannerisms of the Predator, he really sells the fictional language of the Yautja. Again, they could not have picked a better lead character for this film. But the great characters don't stop with Dek though, as he meets an unlikely ally. Enter Elle Fanning as Thea, a synthetic android. I haven't seen a character get as many laughs as she did and also be so impactful to the story in such a long time. When she enters the film, she's almost like a little sister to Dek, which works in a humorous way and a very impactful emotional way. And that isn't all you'll see from Elle Fanning in this film, because she does something that is kinda just the staple of movies in 2025. Now, as I mentioned, this film is PG-13, and that may sound a bit off-putting to you, and trust me, it was to me too. The only other PG-13 Predator film was Alien vs. Predator, but this film, I feel, wasn't cut down to fit that rating. Fun fact, the MPAA doesn't care about violence as long as the blood isn't red. And the Yautja already have that covered, having neon green blood. But the MPAA also doesn't give a shit about robots. And all of the humanoid characters in this film are robots, specifically synthetic androids from the Weyland-Yutani Corporation from Alien. And that's where most of your Predator action comes from. This is not something I would normally bring up in a review, but it's so heavily marketed, I have to talk about it. And them going this route to have a PG-13 movie is beyond brilliant, if you ask me. Because these synthetic androids look and act and sound exactly like humans, except their insides don't look the same. And honestly, I kind of love that, because so many movies love to flaunt just how much blood they have in them, and it kind of just gets boring after a while. So I more than loved seeing this film try something so drastically different. But here's the thing. When I was watching the film, I couldn't help but feel as if I was reminded of something. It's definitely a good something, but I couldn't help but watch it and go, I've felt this movie before. Not exactly seen it, but felt it. It wasn't until after the movie that it hit me. This is a Pixar movie. But wait! Let me explain. There's a tragic opening, a leading character who goes on an adventure he isn't exactly cut out for. He meets a companion who is strikingly different than him, and even more comparisons I can't get myself to spoil. It's Finding Nemo or Up in structure, at the very least. Deck as a character perfectly embodies Pixar's first rule of storytelling. You admire a character more for trying rather than their success. Now, don't take me comparing this film to Pixar as me dumbing it down, or complaining that they Disneyfied it, as so many people on the internet have. I love Pixar, so me comparing it to that is more than a compliment. I just think that comparison really puts into perspective just how well this film's story is told. It's a great action film that not only has some great action sequences, but allows the characters to actually grow, change, and be vulnerable. And Deck's story is one to love for that exact reason. So yeah, I really dig the Pixar comparison. Except there's a lot more dismemberment in this film. Which says a lot, because there's quite a bit of that in Toy Story. Even after that, this film is still packed to the brim with stuff I love, so let me run through some real quick. I was a big fan of the planet Genna. It gave me big Skull Island vibes, which I thought was awesome. The film even had a cute sidekick character who kinda came out of nowhere, but by the end of the film, had such a good purpose, I was not even upset. Coming out of nowhere, though, is the amazing score. This is the definitive tone all music in Predator movies need to have from now on. Top 3 musical scores of 2023, no doubt. I'm really glad Disney wised up after the release of Prey to Hulu in 2022. We need more Predator films on the big screen. And I hope we get more of them, because I freaking loved this movie and cannot wait to see where this story goes next. Or maybe Dan Trachtenberg wants to make that Predator versus Nazi movie he talked about in interviews leading up to this film. I'd be cool with that too. And speaking of Predator movies, I would love to see put a Predator on the Planet of the Apes. They can do that. And while you're at it, AVA. Alien versus Avatar. Come on, James Cameron. You know you want to do that. I might actually be excited for an Avatar movie if James Cameron did that. But I can't recommend Predator Badlands enough. It has a great cast, a great story, and all of the Predator action you've come to know and love from the franchise. All while taking it in a new direction, I'm all for. I hope you all enjoyed this review, and if you did, please consider hitting that like button, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified when my next review drops. Until next time, I'm Quentin Dunaway, hoping you will keep it cinematic.